Welcome to Fenn's Reading Corner. Here we shall read together some life-changing content that you'll soon see will change your life. Our first episode is a very special one. In keeping with modern day trend, as a youngster myself, I shall explain how I came across this book and why I want to share it with you. In April 2021, I was lucky enough to go on a wonderful, heart-rending, soul-searching, relationship-building vacation with a girl I can now call my best friend. We hiked, we cooked, we drank, we adventured. And as we adventured right into this cabin that held treats captured and preserved in time. I shall pause here to remember. And as I pause, I'll take a sip of this amazing gin whiskey that I also gained in the presence of my now best friend. Sorry, I digress. Anyway, back on track. So within this wonderful cabin filled with relics and artifacts from the 1970s was a bookshelf filled with a treasure trove of delights. It was within these shelves that we stumbled upon one of our favourite books in our short lifetime. Before we dive into some of our favourite passages, let me give you a short synopsis to bring you up to speed. And some gin, whiskey, both. So, Xavier has recently discovered that they are the illegitimate son of a prince. Now that they know they're a prince, they want to find a princess. We highly recommend you read the book, and as we can't pick just one of our favourite passages, I've used a random number generator to pick a page to read. Page 350. And that's what I'm going to read you now. Something in his expression both alarmed and excited her, and she sprang up to face him, trying not to flinch beneath the fierce onslaught of conflicting expressions that had suddenly turned his rugged face into the face of an adversary. "Where did you get this?" he demanded. "I told you," said Laura. Not me, the book, Laura. Yeah. "I told you," said Laura, her tongue flicking out to moisten her parched lips as she saw something in his eyes far more threatening than anger or contempt. Something which looked uncomfortably like desire. From the man. She picked the phrase with care, remembering his abomination. "The man who claims to be your father." He made a low growling sound at the back of his throat, and then reaching out, he got hold of her and brought her right up against his hot, hard body, registering with satisfaction, but no surprise, that her pupils dilated in automatic response, and that the tips of her breasts were pushing against the sensually soft material of her suit. "What do you want from me?" he demanded, but his hand had snaked around her waist and had begun to caress its narrow indentations. Breathlessly, Laura stared up at him as he began to stroke her, feeling tension coiling at the pits of her stomach, the hot prickling of her breasts, and a kind of dazed incredulity at the situation in which she found herself. This was outrageous, yet his proximity was nothing short of destabilising. his touch as irresistible as freedom to a caged animal. And just like an animal, she gave a tiny whimper of disbelief. Her throat felt so tight that she could barely get the words out, because this was desire given a whole new meaning. I can't think straight when you're... Sorry, give me a second. I can't think straight when I'm stroking you, he purred, and he bent his head down to whisper into her ear. She could feel the warm caress of his breath, and his words were the most irresistible sounds she had ever heard. But you like me stroking you. You would like me to be stroking you far more intimately, I think. With my fingers parting your thighs and touching you where you are like a molten blazing furnace, touching you until you utter a breath beneath and cry out my name, then kissing the sound into silence. Stop it, she said breathlessly, because she could sense his desire, taste and smell it, almost hear it, as if it was thrumming in the air around them. She felt like a piece of wax left in front of the fire, dissolving beneath the warmth of his touch. Stop it right now. Sorry. He dropped his hands like the man. Oh, hang on, what happened? He dropped his hands like a man who had been playing a game he had become bored with, enjoying the sight of her darkened eyes, the way she was trying to gulp air into her lungs, and the faint flush which had shaded her painted skin. He would have her, of course he would, but not yet. You still haven't told me what it is you want, he said tonelessly. That's not what I said. You still haven't told me what it is you want, he said tonelessly. There we go. Laura gave herself time to compose herself. Let me give me time to compose myself. To rid herself of the erotic pictures which were playing in slow motion in her protesting brain, and the sensation which was dancing dangerously over her sensitised skin. I have orders to bring you to Kazakhstan. But what is in Kazakhstan? There you will find out. Oh man, like I just, or tomorrow.